Hi, Misha here, and I don't really feel like working today. So, let's talk about a few repaints I have in the old Star Wars Titanium series. Typically, for pretty obvious reasons, I don't do repaints. But I thought these were kind of interesting because this is kind of the first generation of the Empire and what they used. In the center, we have a Venator Star Destroyer in Imperial paint. To the left, we have a V-Wing, also in Imperial colors. And to the right, we have an ETA-2, which you saw last time, in Imperial / Sith colors. And this is what the Empire would use after the end of the Clone Wars. They would very quickly retire fighters like the ARC 170 and older Star Destroyers like the Acclamator. But for a few years, they would have to kind of use what they had before the Imperial Star Destroyer came and the TIE Fighter, although both of these are kind of immediate predecessors of the TIE. With that, let's begin with the Venator here. Pretty neat. For a while you could not find Venators. This one's tight, but lately they've become more available, and I've showed you in the past the Republic one. This is a pretty neat model. It's pretty much all metal. Of course, it has a hole in the bottom for the stand. These are small models or nice toys, however you like to look at it. No moving parts on this. The Venator was designed primarily as a carrier. It could carry 192 of these fighters, either one, plus 40 LAAT lot gunships and 20 walkers. It was about 1,150 meters long and about 550 meters wide at its widest, and had a crew of about 7,400. Had a Class 1 main hyperdrive and a Class 12 backup. It has a total of 10 engines in the back, 4 main, and a total of 6 auxiliary. And it has a very large, nearly a half-kilometer long bay that can open up. It actually has 2 bridges. We have flight control on the port side, and we have kind of ship and other operations on the starboard. It was defended, although not near as heavily as later Star Destroyers. It has 8 heavy turbo lasers, 2 medium, over 50-point defense lasers, and it also has some various deck guns that can be installed inside when the bays are open, shielding and all that, of course. It also has proton torpedo batteries, something that later Star Destroyers would get rid of, and tractor beam emitters. And these would be built after the Clone Wars for a while, and they were being refurbished pretty recently, up till only 4 or 5 years before the Battle of Yavin. But they would still stay in kind of second line service until the time of Endor or thereabouts. Now the ETA-2 we talked quite a bit last time about. This was actually one of my older titaniums that I had for a while. It is twin ion engine, capable of about 1,500 kilometers per hour, part of the Delta series, and equipped with 2 lasers, 2 ion cannon, no hyperdrive built in, astromech socket, and this was first used in 20 BBY and became pretty mass produced by And while it was flown by the Jedi, it was also flown by the clones. In fact, a special version for the clones was made that omitted the astromech and actually added a third ion engine in the back. And these would continue in production after the war and would still be kind of issued to elite pilots for years, decades to come. Just thought I'd show you this one. Talked about the model in the previous video. It's pretty neat. It does have the opening wings, or what do you want to call these? Radiator fins. Of course, the bottom ones too. This is of Darth Vader's. Very reminiscent in some profile of the later TIE Advanced. His droid was R4K5, by the way. And this was only about 5.5 meters long and about 4.3 meters wide. Pretty neat. And those were issued and flown by some elite clones, but the rank and file actually had the V-wing here. This one again is in early Imperial paint versus Republic. And actually the V-wing, also known as the Alpha 3, was designed around the same time by the same company, Kuwait, as the ETA-2. And it's nearly as fast at about 1,450 kilometers per hour. Of course, I'm talking in atmosphere. It too uses twin ion engines. In fact, the units used in these would be in the early TIE fighters. Now, it's longer than the ETA-2 at just under 8 meters, but it's actually slightly more narrow at under 4 meters. It has dual rapid-fire laser cannons on each side, and it has an ordnance launcher, at least optional, in the nose. It could be shielded, but it did not have atmosphere inside, so actually it required clone pilots to have a breathing system, a life support system, very reminiscent of later TIE Fighter. So it was designed to be very fast and very nimble, and to stow up on deck, so 192 could actually fit in. These wings do fold up like so. And so with them folding down, it actually can fit into a very tight space, which is how nearly 200 could fit on board a Star Destroyer. And these would be kind of the standard frontline fighter for the first years of the Empire, whereas the ETA-2 were more of the elite. The funny thing is, too, with the wings open, you can also see the lineage of the TIE here, even though they're a different shape. The head-on profile is very TIE Fighter. That, plus the engines and the lack of life support, well, you can see where they're going. Whereas Clone War era V-Wings had an astromech, later Imperial ones did not. Now this model still has the astromech in it, but that's okay. We can just say it's an early one. The reality is, of course, it's just a repaint. But, I don't know, it's kind of interesting seeing how Clone War era vessels turned into early Imperial, and at least these two we actually see on screen at the end of Revenge of the Sith. This one, of course, Darth Vader's, is more of a comics and beta canon, but it's widely accepted and in use. Of course, very soon, the Imperial Star Destroyer and the TIE Fighter would be coming along. But yeah, these are just fun little things. Inexpensive, at least they used to be. And worth a little fun time. With that, I appreciate you hanging out. Pretty short video. And I guess I'll try to make myself go get some work done. This is Misha. Catch you very soon next time.